Hey folks, parents of Country Boy Outdoors. So I'm walking up the hill just to give one last update on this trip for the Dunstan Chestnuts. Just did a short video of the American chestnuts down in the bottom of the back cross. But up on this hill is where the majority of my Dunstans are planted. I planted this one earlier this fall, back in September, I believe. It's another one. Kind of planted them at the edge of the hill just before it slopes down towards the creek. This video, you can't tell how much it slopes, but it's pretty steep. But yeah, up on this hill is basically where the majority of my trees are. Got them of different ages and sizes. A lot of them have come up in caged because, of course, the deer finally started eating up stuff. So but yeah, chestnuts all in this field. I don't know how many. I probably got a couple of hundred chestnuts, just of different sizes, ranging from a foot high to, heck, those gotta be 12, 15 feet. Those are the ones I got nuts on this year. Should get it from a few more. Got them all back here. There's one there. The ones that got all of the vine stuff growing around them, I don't really cage. I don't worry about as much. The deer ain't going through that to mess with any of them. But the ones out in the open, of course, I do have to cage. So a few more I'm gonna cage before I leave here. I got some oaks to plant on the other side of the property. So this one I'm gonna cage. This one right here, they were fairly close, but Buck tore that one up. So definitely gonna cage this one here. This is one of my big trees, but got him real good, so I caged it, and I'm hoping that it makes it. If not, I mean, if the top dies, it may sprout from the bottom. I don't know, we'll see. I caged it anyway, and it couldn't do any further damage, but yeah, he rubbed this one real good. This is one that I got from Walmart a few years back, and it really took off, did well. And so I was hoping that I got some catkins. I mean, this one had catkins on it this past spring. I was hoping that it would have put on some nuts, but with all of that damage down there, we don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see. I got a lot more all through the property, and like I said, I don't have time to come up here as often and baby and keep everything manicured. So some of this stuff I let grow up, because it actually, as hot as it gets in East Texas, and you have a period during the summer where it can get pretty dry. That's one right there I just caged. They were nibbling on the limbs. But it gets pretty dry out here, so basically I'll let these oaks and elms and stuff grow up, because it'll give the trees a little shade. I actually have a Dunstan back there. Maybe I can walk over here to it. And it was kind of growing in the shade. It was protected by a lot of these trees growing up, and it was growing up with those trees. The competition actually makes them speed up the growth. So it grew pretty tall, and I like that. So I've decided to let stuff grow up with my trees. And when the trees get big enough, then, you know, and start producing, or the other trees become a little bit too much competition, I'll thin them out. But this is a Dunstan, and you can't hardly see it. Yeah, that's a Dunstan that I direct seeded, and it basically, find this top limb, is basically growing up with the trees around it. So they're competitive. They'll grow up with these wild trees, and I just let them grow. And when they're growing up and got thick stuff around them, I'm not having problems with those as I am the ones out in the open with the deer coming through rub and stuff. So when those trees get some size on it, I'll come and thin out some of the other things growing around them, like the oaks. That's another small one. Probably need to cage that one. About 3-foot high tree. But I got a lot of them out here like that. Whole bunch of them, because I just come and I direct seed them, and those I grow in pots. I'll come in September and throw them in the ground. September, October, throw them in the ground. And everything seems to do pretty well. I seldom get up here to water anything. There's too many of them to water, so I rely on the rain. But they are making it. So at about 3-4 years, they really sprang up. You know, they start off slow the first year after you direct seed them and growing in this red sandy clay type soil. And you know, they'll battle with the competition. Saw a whole bunch of them look like little twigs growing out, and you wouldn't even be able to see. I'd really have to get up on one and really zoom in. They look like little twigs growing out here. But those are from the ones that I direct seeded, and they're getting acclimated to the soil. They're sending down that tap root and basically growing like any other wild tree. When they get a good strong root system, after a few years, then they'll spring up and grow pretty fast. Got a few of them growing along the trail here. Some of those were scraggly last year. They're still chewing, nibbling on the tips of them. I'm gonna have to cage those also. So I got a few of them to cage, and when they get as tall as those back here, then you know I won't worry about them as much. But yeah, I probably got a few hundred chestnuts growing on this place. Between 200-300 chestnuts of all sizes, all ranges, ranging from a year old to 5-6 years old, somewhere around in there. And like I said, in another 5 years, this stuff be done growing up so thick, I'll come through and trim out other trees and leave the chestnuts. But I'm just gonna let everything grow up together, so I find they do well, and it helps. It will really take a lot of my time to come out here and keep everything trimmed, mulched, caged, and watered and all of that stuff. So I've just found that it's helped me to let the wild trees grow up with the planted trees. So that's my little strategy that's been helping me. As many trees as I planted, I have a lot of them surviving out here. Like I said, some of them growing a little slower because they're establishing that tap root, but after a certain age, about the 3rd year, they really leap up. So, and most of those that you see over there, that's about 5 feet tall, then that's kind of the same situation. So most of those trees are about 3 years old, 3.5 years old. In that 3rd year, they really sprang up this last summer. So I got quite a few trees out here like that. So give them some time, they'll spring up. I actually don't, I have tubes, but I got a lot of tree tubes, but I don't put any of them in the tree tubes. Those with a lot of the lower limbs, I found that the bucks don't rub them. They're really attracted to the taller, slim trees like that, and they come rub the heck out of them. So, you know, I plant them from seed. I don't trim anything. I just let them grow up. When they got a lot of, at that age, when they got a lot of lower limbs, then, you know, I just let them grow, and I let stuff grow around them. And it basically saves them most of the time. This is basically the low budget way to establish an orchard, but you know, and this is basically my way. I mean, everyone has their own ways, but this is the way I do it, and it's worked for me. And I'm pretty pleased with the number of trees that I've had to survive, and that's growing all over this place. So anyway, this is my January update, January 2019. Probably bring another update about the chestnuts in the spring when I come up in March. We do a youth event with our NWTF chapter, and I'll probably come up here when things are blooming. We'll see how things are doing then and give another update then. All right, thanks for watching.